Hey, welcome back to another episode of Sammy and Marissa's Husbands. Hope you're having a lovely drive to work on this fine Monday. Um, yeah, so we'll start this as we do all the episodes. We'll go through the agenda, talk kind of lives of recent athlete segment. We'll try and name that segment again. Talk some current events, some bowl games, maybe some fantasy football, random questions, Pat's beeves, closing comments. So, lives are recent. What's been up?
Typical work week other than Christmas, obviously. New Year's Eve was probably the busiest day for us of the year.
Yeah, I can
Absolutely
imagine.
insane. Absolutely insane. They had me working retail. I had to show them boys how to do it up there. They've never worked super double coupons at Harris Teeter, so they really didn't know what busy was. I actually saw Moss. He came in there. He was my first customer of the day.
Yeah, what's up? He told me he was gonna come get some stuff from you guys. What did they get? Squid or something like that?
He got clams and oysters from us. He got squid somewhere else. Or maybe
Okay,
he got squid from us. He got an octopus somewhere else.
maybe. I don't know. I didn't actually eat that stuff with them, so I don't really know what he got. For some reason, I thought it was squid.
Um, well, yeah, he was doing, Feast of the Seven Fishes, so they have seven different types of seafood.
Right, right.
The mistake he made is, I gave him a discount and he put $20 in the tip jar. That
Instead of sliding it straight to you.
you got to put the thing right in my pocket, buddy. And once it goes in that tip jar, that's split between everybody.
Yeah, that blows.
So,
Rookie
you know,
mistake, honestly.
yeah, rookie move. You give me a handshake, you slide me a 20.
Yeah, for sure.
Who's on the 20? Andrew Jackson?
Sounds right.
Yeah. That's what we're gonna go with.
Yeah, I
And
mean, it checks out. Hamilton's a 10.
Hamilton's a 10. Yep. Christmas Eve we spent with Marissa's family.
Nice.
That was nice. There was prime rib, which I don't eat beef, but maybe once a year now. And so it made me very sick, like within an hour.
Did it make you sick because it was beef, or did it make you sick because you're like, oh my God, this is beef. It's gonna make me sick. And you got in your head about it and you went home and you just sat on the toilet for a long time.
Well, if I would have made it home, that would have been one thing. I had explosive diarrhea at the in-laws
Nice.
while everybody was opening gifts.
Good stuff.
So yeah, I didn't really even sit there that long. It just
Just went right through you.
I was halfway down and it was already coming out.
Your palate was just like, this is beef.
Well, my palate was like, oh, this is really good. It's tasty.
Yeah.
My stomach was like, get this out of here.
I love a good prime rib.
It was delicious.
Yeah, I'm sure it was.
Body just can't take it.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair.
Then Christmas Day we did with my family. That was cool. We just had did like a pot roast chicken or a crock pot chicken, ham, and then sides. My favorite part is always the sides anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, gotta be. It's not necessarily Thanksgiving level, but Christmas does have good food too.
Yeah. Christmas got good food. I think it's more ham centric.
I'd definitely say it would be more ham centric, and I think it's because nobody really loves turkey that much. They just all eat it for Thanksgiving. So
Yeah,
then everybody gets the ham.
turkey is, whatever.
Turkey's good, but I want it once a year.
Yeah, that kind of turkey, like turkey sandwich meat. I like
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt.
on my sub. But then Friday, I had to drive to Pinehurst
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
because uh there was a mix up with some dates. So I went up there, tried to get some business with the fish. Some people seemed receptive to it. There's a lot of money out there, a lot of golf courses.
Yeah, no doubt. Pinehurst is big, big time money.
I told the guy I was delivering to, I was like, yeah, I've never been out here. I'm from Wilmington. And then I paused and said, there's a lot of golf courses. And he said, well, to be fair, there's a lot of golf courses out here too. I was like, I'm talking about out here, you stupid fuck. But I was just like, yeah, yeah. Have a good day.
You're gonna
You
lose a
dumb.
customer because he definitely listens to this.
Yeah, you stupid bitch. Um,
That's good stuff.
then Saturday, work day, went to the in-laws, shot a couple guns,
Hmm.
was ambushed by a wildlife officer. He drew his pistol on me. I said, "Hey, buddy, you might want to put that thing away before I take out my Ulysses S. Grant and show you his work." But he was cool. Then went to Burgall Brewing, had a bratwurst Philly, which was pretty good.
Yeah. Burgal Brewing was good. I was pleasantly surprised with how new and nice the place was. The beers were good. They had a good selection of beers. Honestly, all the food was good. My burger was delicious. They have like the smash burgers, um, and good smash burger is always good. Um, yeah, it was just a cool environment, nice place.
Yeah, I liked it in there. I don't really ever spend any time in Burgall, so it was cool to get out there a little bit. I saw a
Yep.
couple of places I used to deliver to when I worked for OD, so had a
Yeah.
little PTSD.
Truthfully, you think about Burgal, and I didn't even know there was a town of Burgal, to be honest.
Really?
I mean, I know that Burgal is a town,
You
but
didn't know
like
they
I
had like a
thought,
downtown?
yeah, I thought it was literally all Burgal ever was like how the in-laws property is. Like that's what I thought Burgal was.
Okay.
And most of Burgal is like that. Um Also Moores Creek Battlefield. I didn't know that was there.
In Atkinson?
Yeah, right there on the outskirts of Burgal.
Is it like a
No, it's a Civil War battlefield.
yeah, I know they do reenactments out there. The
Yeah.
only thing I ever knew about it is that it backs up to their property, so
Yeah, no, I knew that Moores Creek like was in North Carolina, and it was like not necessarily a super famous battlefield, but it's relevant in the Civil War, and I just didn't realize it was there, I guess.
people died out there.
I'm sure. I don't know too much about it to be honest, but I know it is a place and it does exist. In fact, because I drove by it.
Hell yeah. I had to do a U-turn in there one time.
Interesting.
Pretty riveting stuff.
I bet. I bet a lot of grass.
There's definitely grass in there. There was a guy telling me, "Hey, you can't go this way," and I said, "Oh, don't worry about it." And then I did a U-turn. That's pretty much it.
That's what's up though. Yeah, I think our lives of recent are pretty similar. I was in town as well, obviously. Um, and we have the Christmas rodeo that we do. We got to see, my parents who are split, so that makes it complicated, and Sam's family. So Christmas, we're all over the place. Um, we see Christmas Eve, we stay with Sam's family, do that whole shindig. Christmas morning, we'd wake up, drive to my dad's, do like a breakfast casserole and hang out with him till like 2 in the afternoon. And then we go see my mom that evening. So we're all over the place, truthfully. Them both being in Brunswick County does make it a little less complicated because if she was down in Carolina Beach still, that's just even more driving. But it was a couple times we'd be in Carolina Beach, so like the far end of New Hanover County. We'd hang out there, do some shopping, and then we'd drive into Brunswick County, eat lunch with my dad, hang out there for a bit, then out back to Pender County to my granddad's spot, and then back to New Hanover County that evening. So like we were multiple days in 3 counties a day. I probably put so many miles on my truck. It's not even funny.
Yeah, that's too much. I mean, but you got to do it.
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, like you come into town, you feel like you got to see everybody. Everybody's kind of a little all over. It's not like it used to be where everybody's in one corner in Carolina Beach anymore. Um, so it's hard. It's a lot of running around, but all in all, it was a success. We got to see everybody we set out to see. Um, we made it back to good old Alabama, and I'm Supposed to be off all next week as well, which is nice. Some current events that we'll talk about later may interrupt that, but I should get, uh, should get made up for the time on the back end. Um, but yeah, so let's transition to our athlete segment. You have the athlete today, and we'll be providing the guesses for me to guess.
Yes, I will be doing that today.
Hell yeah.
All right. Wide receiver, third year, disgruntled.
T. Higgins.
Ooh, I think he might have. I think he might be in the league longer than that,
Yeah, maybe.
but it is not T. Higgins.
Okay. Disgruntled wide receiver, third year in the league. Is he kind of prolific? Prolific?
I would say that. I don't. In my opinion, he's definitely a top 10 wide receiver in the league.
Playoff team?
No.
Garrett Wilson.
There you go. Nice.
Damn it. I should have known that one.
I thought I gave you too much, honestly,
Yeah.
on the I thought I gave you too much. Nice.
I don't know tons about how disgruntled he is. I wasn't thinking about that at first. I do know that he was unhappy for a bit, and I guess it's because he's not getting the ball.
It seems that way. It seems like there's a little. I mean, he had 80 catches and 1,000 yards this year. I mean, he's one of only 5 people to do that every year of his career through his first 3 seasons. So, I mean, he's good. He's really good.
Yeah.
Touchdown numbers are down. There are talks he might ask for a trade if Aaron Rodgers returns. But we will see about that. If I'm the Jets, I don't trade him for anything. I mean, we've got him signed. We don't have to trade him. We shouldn't trade him. He's one of the best receivers in the league. Just get him the fucking ball more. Shouldn't be that difficult to get a guy that dynamic at the ball.
Yeah, no, I feel you there. I do think
And he is getting the ball. I mean, he is.
right. I mean, as a receiver, though, you want the ball every play. And obviously that's not going to happen, but that's where his head's at. And I think Devontae coming into the Jets organization and Rodgers really trying to force feed Devontae the ball takes away some of those looks that Wilson gets.
Yeah.
And
sure.
I'm sure he's frustrated with that because he wants to be the one that gets force fed the ball.
Yeah.
And overall, Devontae's great, right? But that, he's I don't know. I don't know. I haven't watched enough games, but truthfully, Devontae's towards the end of his career.
Yeah, he is. But a week ago or 2 weeks ago, he had 200 yards, two touchdowns. So I mean, like, he's still like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I said touchdown numbers down. I mean, he has 7 touchdowns this season and 13 for his career.
Oh, interesting.
So, maybe they're not down, and maybe maybe he thought he was going to take a bigger jump.
Yeah, I mean, third year in the league, he's probably coming up on the end of his rookie contract, which I think is 4 years.
I think it's 4 years, yeah.
So he's probably, trying to make a push to get the crazy contract extension, which I do think, they would want to sign him to an extension. But he wants his numbers to be like at a crazy number right now, kind of like how Jamar Chase was and Justin Jefferson. That way they could just get these ridiculous deals.
Yeah, so he has the same amount of touchdowns this year as he had in his first 2 years combined.
Yeah.
He has less catches than last year and less yards than his first year. He's kind of got interesting numbers.
Yeah.
He does have substantially less targets than last year, though. That's true.
That's very interesting.
Could be part of the issue.
Yeah. Losing doesn't help.
Yeah, I mean, if we were 11-4,
yeah,
you're, potentially all pro type season.
Right. If you're 11-4, also you've probably scored a few more touchdowns. It means you're on offense a little longer. He's probably scored and gotten the ball more. But yeah, like, you're not having the greatest numbers. Some of that gets overlooked because you're winning. And it's like, okay, we're winning, we're doing something right. But then it's like, we're losing. Okay, well, I'm not getting the freaking ball.
Yeah, if I'm getting the ball more, we're winning more.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. All right, well, let's try this name that segment. So I'm gonna pick the category. You guys know the rules. It's kind of like I'll say the category and you'll be like, I can name 6 things or I can name 8 things. And then one of us will say, basically call BS. And then the person that calls BS will start the timer and see if we can call their bluff. So with that, the category today is things that are orange.
Ooh, okay. Oh man. I can name 4 things that are orange.
4 things.
Yeah.
Okay. I can name 5 things.
Holy shit. Um, this one is tough because I have like the color orange, right? Let's just
Yeah.
before I go any farther, like
Mhm.
if I say orange paint, does that count? I mean, it is fucking orange.
I mean, yes, in theory, it's orange.
But then you could be like orange pencil, orange paper,
Yeah, you could.
things that are naturally occurring orange is a whole different thing.
Naturally occurring, I could probably name 2.
Well, I could name more than 2.
I think we just go for things that are orange because we get naturally occurring. We start getting into the weeds too much. I'm going to tell you that's not natural. But yes, don't say like, you know, uh, I don't even know.
I got no, I got you. I'm with it now.
Yeah,
I can name 6.
6. I can go 7.
If I go 8, are you going 9?
I don't know.
I guess it really kind of depends on if you've got any balls,
Yeah.
and I don't think you do.
Nice. Love
I
that
can
confidence.
name 8.
All right, I can name 9.
Cap, bitch.
All right. I just had to. You literally gave me no choice. I had
Yeah,
to.
I know. I
I can
wanted
name
it
9.
out there. I wanted it out there in the world. If I have any now I'm trusting you not to be a hoe and just be like orange this, orange that.
No, I won't do that unless I can't think of anything else. What do I got to get? 9?
Well, you got to get well, yeah, you have if you get 9 then you get it.
Yeah, I win the game.
I'll start the timer whenever your first guess goes and I'll count for you so you don't have to think about it.
Okay, I'm ready. My first guess is oranges, basketballs, um, Cheetos, is high C orange? No, we'll just go. Is high C orange?
There's an
Isn't
orange high C, I'll give you that. Yeah.
all right? We'll do high C. All right, yeah, high C. Um, orange soda.
You being a hoe. All
Hey,
right.
look, orange soda is the thing. I
Name the brand.
had no idea. Orange soda. No, it's called orange soda. Um, our construction signs. Um, highlighters.
Time. I gave you I gave you extra seconds because I hung you up on that
Yeah, that was BS.
with
I'm
the
throwing the
orange
flag.
soda.
I'm throwing the flag there.
I gave you extra time though. I
What'd I
gave you 10
get?
extra seconds.
What'd I
You
get?
got 7 in 55 seconds.
That's BS. Syracuse jerseys, Clemson jerseys, Miami jerseys. That's 10. Boom.
Oh god. You know, I did make a stink about Mike interrupting me.
Well, that sounds like something Mike would do.
He did, and I'm gonna put this in there as a loss for you. But
That's fine.
I'll give you the caveat of you can go with yellow things and we'll call it a wash.
No, it's okay. You can put a loss in there and just make sure there's an asterisk by it.
Okay. 9 guesses was the threshold. You got 7 little asterisks next to it. Asterisk. Asterisk. Asterisk.
Truthfully, I don't know
What don't you know?
if it's asterisk or asterisks.
I don't know. I could probably talk about that for another 45 minutes.
I know what the symbol is.
A little star.
Yeah, the asterisk. Asterisk. Asterisk.
I'm going to upload a 45-minute video to our YouTube of us just going asterisk in a loop.
People will start questioning whether that's even a real word or not.
That'll be the most views we get on anything.
Yeah, it will be. All right, so moving on, a little bit of a current event. Kind of breaking news, actually. Jimmy Carter,
Heard it here first.
potentially. But if you're on Twitter at all, then probably not. But the late Jimmy Carter, the now late Jimmy Carter, has just passed.
First of all, I didn't even know. That's the first time I'm hearing about it.
Yeah, he just passed. Like probably 30 minutes ago.
What the fuck? Did you hear about it before?
I heard about it about 10 minutes before.
So you really did know.
Yeah.
I would just like to make a statement about President Carter, the least morally corrupt president of all time.
I'd agree with that.
Generally, from what I've heard, a nice, decent man.
Yeah, and I think that's why he only served one term.
Yeah. I've heard that he wasn't a great president, but I wasn't alive, so I don't know.
Yeah, I think he had his priorities were correct. You know, he wanted to go there and do good, but like stuff doesn't get accomplished when you do things like that. So I just don't think he really got a lot done.
Didn't sell his soul.
Yeah, he didn't sell his soul, which is why he only served one term.
And why he lived to be 100? Is he 100? Or did he not make it?
No, he made it to 100. Barely. So he's been in hospice since February of 2023.
Yeah, I knew that he was in hospice for a long time. And typically when you go into hospice, it's end of life care. Like you're going to die within a month.
Right. And I think it basically was, but I think, I don't know, because I've seen some pictures of him and it didn't look like he was living.
Bro, they was just wheeling his ass around.
Yeah.
So you're going to be on funeral duty.
Yes, which is why I said I'm supposed to be off this whole week. But as of right now, I have to go in tomorrow and get a brief on what I have to do. It'll likely be just getting a car and driving a car to some location and either picking up people or picking up equipment and dropping it off somewhere else.
Yeah.
Not exactly sure what that's going to entail, but we'll see. We can talk about that in the next podcast, but a little bit about Jimmy Carter. He was the 39th president. I said he only served one term. He his name is James Earl Carter Jr., which I thought was interesting.
James Earl Jones, R.I.P.
Similar, yes, R.I.P. Now two great James Earls are now gone, but Jimmy, the peanut farmer, he was a Democrat in Georgia, which I think is kind of rare. He turned Georgia into a blue state there for a bit.
Yeah, boy.
He went to the U.S. Naval Academy, served 7 years in the Navy, and got out as a lieutenant, which in the Navy, a lieutenant is a captain.
So he was the same rank as you?
Same rank and grade as I am now, yeah.
So you're
I'm on
military
track.
career
I'm on track to be
is
president. Yeah.
I was going to say you're as decorated as Jimmy Carter in the military. Probably more. Was he um do they have like sapper schools and stuff like that, like equivalents
And
in the Navy?
probably I didn't really look into it. But it just depends on your job, right? If you're not an engineer, you're not going to go to that school really. So,
Right.
um, but I did look at his awards, and I do think I may have one or two more awards than he did. So basically, I'm on track to be president.
I was gonna say, well, I did say that you were more decorated as a service member than Jimmy Carter, but then I forgot that the president is the commander in chief. So I guess you're technically not,
No, definitely not. No.
but it's close.
Yeah, technically, he achieved the highest rank in the military.
But that's a civilian position, correct?
Yes, it is a civilian position, but he's the commander in chief.
Interesting. Okay.
Very interesting.
I don't want to talk about that too much. People will be like, "Oh, it's turning into a history podcast."
um, he's from Plains, Georgia, which is why that this installation that I'm at has to do the detail of his funeral, basically. Um, so like, when someone like Joe Biden dies, uh, the closest military installation to Pennsylvania, where he's from, is probably like Fort Drum. Um, I don't know if it has to be Army. I'm not sure, but yeah. So that's that. Old Jimmy Carter, R.I.P.
Plains, Georgia, a town with an estimated population of 575 people at the 2020 census. Small area,
Interesting. I didn't know it was that small.
small town.
Yeah, Old Plains, Georgia.
Majority black.
Okay, I mean I could see that.
I'm looking at the racial breakdown of the town.
Yeah.
There's like so little people. It's just one Native American, three Asian people, and 20 Hispanics, and the rest are white black people.
What are we thinking the Asians are doing down in Plains, Georgia?
I'm thinking the three people are it's like one household, I'm assuming.
Probably.
Yeah. And they're probably working
Let's not get into it. Let's not get into it.
living their life just like everyone
Yeah, there
else
we
in
go.
the town, just being completely normal Americans.
Yep,
Is,
exactly.
yeah,
That's
some of our listeners might have uncouth things to say, but that's not us. I like talking into the mic, so I'm not going to say anything crazy.
oh man. All right, well let's move on from old Jimmy. Um, let's talk some college football. So UNC and Syracuse both had a bowl game. UNC got shit canned by UConn. Um, basically, none of our starters played, and we really didn't even have a head coach. So honestly, it was a joke of a game anyway. Um, but what I do want to talk about in terms of UNC football is how does Bill Belichick coming to the program of North Carolina football going to affect UNC basketball? So my thinking for that is like, especially with this new shift to college sports with NIL. So I don't think he's going there to just be average. He's going to want the NIL money. He's going to want his big time name staff to come in and be paid. And I'm sure his salary is up there. And like the athletic department only has so much money. So pooling all those resources to go to football, are we like trying to shift the focus away from being a basketball school? Because it's no secret that Carolina's a basketball school.
Yeah, of course.
So I'm wondering, is that going to change our basketball?
And you're talking about the endowment that they get, right, for athletics
Yes.
that the school provides.
Yes. And
Because like
also boosters.
with NIL money, you can get more, right?
Yeah. So like boosters can contribute towards
As much as
NIL.
they wanted.
but most of the boosters for North Carolina are typically giving that NIL to our basketball players because that's our sport. That's where we're trying to get those big time recruits and transfers. But now it's like, okay, something's happening. We have Bill Belichick coming to North Carolina. Like, can we win? And then they're going to try and give all these resources now to the football team. My thing is the athletic department saying, like, hey, we're going to try and be one of those teams that, is not just a football school, but both, basketball and football.
There's only so much money in the world, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Now, I think a lot of these boosters have ties to UNC basketball. So I feel like a lot of them give this money with the caveat that it has to be used for so and so.
Maybe. I hope so.
I don't think it's going to have a negative effect on the basketball stuff.
Mhm.
I think you might get more, backup power forwards going to play fucking on field goal and try and block kicks or some stupid shit. But other than
Interesting.
that, you're gonna have a couple 6'8" guys out there just jumping straight up trying to block kicks.
Hey,
Lock it in. You're gonna
I'm
you're
off.
lock it in. You're gonna have in the next 3 years, you're gonna have at least one dual sport football basketball athlete.
I like that take. I like that take. We'll have to keep you guys posted on if that happens or not. I'd love for our football team to be good. We've been a little above average, I'd say, the past few years. But like, I don't want to see the basketball program suffer because that's what we got, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's going to. I'm optimistic that it's going to work out good. I think Chapel Hill fans are gonna be fucking annoying
Yeah,
per usual.
I mean, yeah, right. Any fans of a sports team are annoying if you're
You
not a fan
you
of that sports team.
if you have a year like this year where you don't live up to expectations, you make a big splash move like getting you know arguably the greatest NFL coach in history. You got stuff to talk about. I don't think you should be worried about if it's going to affect the basketball team with money. I don't. I know you're kind of acting like me a little bit right now, being a little cautiously optimistic. I think you can just have optimism right now.
I hope so. I'm not optimistic. I think it's going to be bad.
Well, I didn't want to put words in your mouth.
Yeah, I think it's going to be bad. I think we're going to be just as good as we are always in football. And Belichick's going to go away and his son's going to take over. And sure, he may be a good coach. And then we're going to be right there where we were beforehand. And our basketball program is going to suffer within the next 3 years because we're not going to get those big NIL guys.
Okay.
That's what
I
I'm
hope you're.
thinking.
I hope for your sake you're wrong because it's no fun to be a fan of a team that fucking sucks. Trust me.
Especially a Carolina basketball team that sucks because then it's like the end of the world.
All right. With the old doom and gloom Eller, let's take a quick commercial break.
All right.
The 10-3 top 25 nationally ranked DirecTV Bowl, DirecTV Holiday Bowl, excuse me, winners, the Syracuse Orange. Kyle McCord put in an astounding 453 yards, 5 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions. LaKent Allen, 120 yards on the ground, 2 touchdowns. Also added 1 receiving touchdown. And my boy King Joseph Edwards, best name in college football, 3 tackles.
All right. Thanks for that lovely ad from raspy voiced, not sleeping Syracuse fan. But yes, at least one of our teams got a big win in a bowl game.
Yeah, and
And
honestly, overall, I think it was a great year for us.
yeah, I would say as well. You guys started off freaking hot.
Yeah, and we had a little lull towards the 75% through the year, but finishing 10-3, winning the bowl game. I mean, we played Washington State University, who was 8-5, so it's not like we played a insane school, but we went. I mean, took care of business.
Hey, that's what the game is about. Um, Bowl games are fun, but they're kind of getting uh, their
They're
meaningfulness taken away from them, especially when we expand to this 12-team college football playoff. They just don't mean as much anymore. Like it used to be a big deal if a team got to a bowl game, and now like it's it means you had a successful season generally. But if you now it's turning into if you don't make the playoff, your season was kind of a wash.
Yep. And I used to be, Syracuse would go like 7-6, and we'd make the Pinstripe Bowl or something,
Yeah,
and we'd win that. And I'd be like, hell yeah! Now we're a top 25 team in the country, and the DirecTV Holiday Bowl. Like what? I mean,
yeah,
you can't control who the sponsor is, but I mean, cable is shit anyway. Like
that's
that's
true.
that's a good like allegory for it. Like bowls are becoming obsolete, cable's obsolete. Of course, we win the obsolete cable bowl.
True. Um, but cool nonetheless. That kind of brings us to what I wanted to talk about for the transfer portal. So like these kind of meaningless bowl games become even more meaningless because if you're in a bowl game and you're deciding to enter the transfer portal or potentially go pro, like you're just sitting out. These players aren't playing. So it becomes kind of like what Carolina did, where you're playing a team that's not really reflective of the team that you were all season.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially if there's a guy who's got, towards the end of his career and he's going to the NFL. Why would you risk injury in a game that, quote unquote, doesn't matter?
Yeah, I feel you. Um, a couple instances happened. So, like for instance, Colorado played BYU in their bowl game. They ended up losing, but Shador Sanders and Travis Hunter opted in to play. And the only reason they opted into play is because they had some sort of insurance policy that if they got hurt, they would be compensated. My only issue with that, it's cool. I'm glad they played. I think it's good for college football. You start something, you finish something. That's cool. I like that aspect. But like compensated, great, right? Like you're gonna go to the NFL and potentially make millions of dollars, like set your family up. And if you get hurt, be compensated fairly, right? But it doesn't the monetary compensation doesn't cover your lifelong dream of potentially being drafted as the number one overall pick or playing in the NFL. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's hard to put a monetary value on that.
I agree with that. And it probably will pale in comparison to career earnings, sponsorship earnings. But also, who knows the type of premium they had to pay for something like that?
That's true. Who knows?
Like it could. I mean, they could be paying $100,000 or something up front for something that if they didn't get hurt, they don't even need.
Yeah, they definitely had to pay a decent amount, I think, for that to happen. And truthfully, like watching the highlights of the game, I didn't watch the game, but it didn't really look like they were out there giving it 100%, which I don't blame them.
Yeah,
But all's well in the world. Neither of them got hurt, so that's good. Another situation I want to talk about in terms of that is Cam Ward, who's the quarterback from Miami. He opted in to play in Miami's bowl game versus Iowa State. He ended up breaking the Division I all-time passing touchdown record um,
for a career or for a season.
for a career. I think. Shit, I don't know. I know it was set by Case Keenum.
It's career then.
Career, yeah. So he ended up breaking that, and then he decided to take himself out of the game after he broke it, and they ended up losing 42-41.
What a screw up.
So, like I said, I'm all for them sitting out. I think, protect your interests, protect that lifelong dream. But if you're gonna opt in, play the game. Don't opt
Yeah.
in. I don't like that he opted in solely to break an individual record. Like I think that's kind of sleazy.
Yeah, he's not even top 25 in yardage, though.
Yeah. They scored a lot of touchdowns.
He's not even top 50.
For all time.
Yeah, for passing yardage.
Yeah. I don't know. When I heard that he broke that record, I was kind of like, really? Because he had a weird journey. He was JUCO.
It's got to be for a single season.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know what it was because Case Keenum, like single season is Bailey Zapp,
Yeah. Right. That was like
uh,
Missouri or something.
Western Kentucky.
Same thing. I'll look it up. We'll keep going. I'll look it up and see if I put out some misinformation, but I'm pretty sure I read that somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like you lied.
Definitely didn't lie. I was maybe misinformed. Yes, Miami quarterback broke the Division I career touchdown passing record on Saturday in the final game of his college career.
For what?
Career touchdown passes. Division I career touchdown passes.
And how many does he have?
Let me see. I don't know. 156th career touchdown pass.
At the D1 level?
Yeah.
The list I'm looking at is not updated.
Well, I mean, it just happened like yesterday, I think. Case Keenum
Yeah,
had 150. Case Keenum for Houston had 155 career touchdown passes.
yeah, I'm seeing that. Huh. Interesting.
So he spent his first.
Very
So
interesting.
Cam Ward spent his first 2 years in college football at Incarnate Word, which is a FCS program. So it is like D1 AA. So technically still the D1 level. He threw 71 touchdown passes there, transferred to Washington State for 2 seasons, threw 48 touchdown passes in those 2 seasons, and then transferred to Miami.
Yeah, so he's really not the record holder because they're not going to count those FCS
I mean, technically he's
ones. That's why
D1.
he's not. That's why it's not on the list I was looking at because they're
Yeah.
not
Well, it looks
they're
like
not going to
Dylan
count that.
Dylan Gabriel very well could because he has 153 career touchdown passes, which are all at the FBS level, and then they play. If they then make it all the way to the national championship, he has a very good chance of beating that.
Yeah, the list I was looking at had Dylan Gabriel at 2, and that
Yeah,
makes sense.
yeah,
Cam Ward's not in the top 50 because
because they don't count those FCS.
the FCS ones. Yeah, I was going to say I feel like you're not lying. I also feel like I'm not wrong.
I feel like we're both not wrong in that
Yeah,
instance, but that was a headline. So he stayed in the game specifically to break that record,
that
broke the
doesn't even
record.
count.
That doesn't technically count.
That doesn't even
And
count.
then, yeah, and then took himself out,
At
which
that point, go win the game.
they go win the game. Um,
I mean, no disrespect to Cam Ward. I could not play quarterback at an FCS school, so
no, for sure. I mean,
I couldn't have played quarterback at a high school. So I mean,
yeah, right.
so like, don't
I
laugh at
did
that.
I did play
You laughed a little too. Don't do that. You laughed a little
I
too hard.
I played quarterback for like 3 snaps and had one rushing touchdown.
I remember I was there at
Yeah,
Laney.
at Laney, yeah.
Good times.
Good times.
Mike, I know you didn't listen to the episodes that you weren't on.
No, I need to go back and listen to him.
Mike said that he was the third string quarterback his senior year. And I said that was a gimmick. and he said he could have been second string. And when I asked him, I said, "Do you think you were better than the second string quarterback?" And he said, "Oh, absolutely." And I don't think he remembered that it was you. And then I was like, "So you were better than Trey?" And then he said, "Yes."
Yeah, well, like I just want to put this in perspective for Mike for a second. We were a triple option team. So like it's not like he's dropping back and passing. He may very well be able to throw the ball better than I can. Not a thrower, not one of my talents. I can throw a baseball. Football, you never know where that thing's going. Uh, but I don't see Mike under center running the triple.
Not at that time.
Could have been B back. He'd have been a hell of a B back behind Quincy. We need a short yardage situation. Get old Swamp Donkey in there, push forward for 4 yards. You kidding me? Only issue taking Mike off the line. Who the hell blocks for him? Because we didn't have anybody else.
Yep. Yeah, we talked about his football career a little bit.
That's
So that was
good.
interesting.
That's good.
Sorry to get off track there, but you brought up you being a quarterback, and it just reminded me that Mike said he was the best thing since sliced bread.
Yeah, well, if he was, he'd have been in there. Oh man. So I guess ending with the transfer portal, like, is the transfer portal a good thing, or is there a better way to get guys to schools that they're supposed to be at versus just, oh, I'm not playing, let me transfer.
I think I'm 100% for the NIL guys making money on their name. I am against uh no penalty at all for transfers
Yeah.
because guys should 100% be able to make money on their name. The schools are making billions of dollars. But the fact that you can just switch teams whenever you want or you don't like, it kind of teaches you to run away from adversity, I feel like, as an athlete. Granted, if the guy, I mean, if the coach you came to play for leaves, then I think maybe you can,
Yeah.
work around that. But if you're just not playing or you just have a bad attitude, you're not getting the targets you want or something. I'm not necessarily saying it needs to be a full season, but there should be some sort of something.
Yeah, I think there should be a limit on the amount of times you can transfer. I think maybe like once with no penalty. And then if you transfer a second time, I think you have to sit out a season just like it used to be. And that season counts towards your eligibility. Because I think, sometimes players commit to a certain school and it's just not the right fit. And that's okay. You should be given the opportunity to transfer. But we're talking about people that go to college for 5 years and are on 5 different teams,
Yeah.
which is crazy.
Yeah, no, I agree.
But I'm
100%.
I'm with you. I think NIL is overall good. I think the premise of it is good. We do have to figure out some sort of way to regulate it so they're not getting like professional contracts where it's like, oh yeah, I'll come to your school if you get me a Cadillac, you get my parents' box seats to the games. I fly on a private jet instead of commercial like the rest of the team, like blah blah blah. I think that's kind of BS.
Yeah, I'm okay with the box seats. Everything else you said is ridiculous,
Yeah.
especially if you're going to go out there and have like 800 catches or no shit. If you have 800 catches, give the guy whatever he wants.
Yeah, give him
But
catches, give him whatever he wants.
you have 3 catches for 8 yards, and then you transfer away from the school anyway.
Yeah, the school is
Like,
being rewarded for, they're not getting their benefits back. But like I said, there's probably so many people trying to figure out the best way to go about NIL and the transfer portal that will ultimately probably make a better decision than we will. So we'll let them figure that out. But all in all, they'll probably make a worse decision than we will. Maybe we should go to the college football playoff committee and just sit in there, pick the teams that get in the playoff and, fix the transfer portal, fix NIL, all that good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we could turn this whole podcast into we get a website and we
Yeah,
just become reporters.
we could. It'd be
Uh,
bad.
I mean, we could do what, I mean, we can literally do whatever we want.
That's true. We do whatever we want anyway.
Yeah. Okay. I guess the next step is make a website. We'll have Wes on there reviewing movies, giving spoilers.
Yeah.
I guess Drew will keep doing fast food reviews. Mike can talk about the plight of being a white man. And Corey, we could get to actually do reporting.
Yeah, that checks out.
Shout out Kevin, hockey.
Yeah, Kevin will be our hockey analyst.
Bryce, he can actually do world events.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sure he has a great segment on Jimmy Carter passing. We probably should have got him on here for that.
Oh, Jesus Christ. R.I.P.
Rip.
Rest
All
in
right.
peanuts.
So let's move towards fantasy football playoffs. I want to know, how is your outlook? Did you make the playoffs? How are you doing? Is it over for you?
I made the playoffs in my dynasty league. I lost in the first round because Amari Cooper gave me 0. And I had Dobbs on my bench with the Packers, and he had 19. And I would have won that. I would have won the next week, and I would be in the championship right now in the dynasty. But I finished 5th place in that. In the redraft league, all year I was telling you it was the worst team ever. I won 6 weeks in a row. Missed the playoffs by 1 game, but ended up in the shit bowl and lost the shit bowl. So I did finish last.
Hell yeah.
What can you do?
What can you do? It would have been nice if you didn't finish last, but somebody's got to finish last. Is there a punishment?
No.
No. I always like.
None that was agreed upon before the year. So
Well, then
there'll
that's fair.
be,
Yeah, that's fair. As long as it wasn't agreed upon before the
and
year.
I'm 100% for last place punishments.
Yeah, me too.
If it's agreed upon, like you're not gonna try and spring some shit on me now.
For sure. Can't spring it on halfway through the season. It's got to be agreed upon before the draft even takes place.
Especially if it's gonna be something that's like brutal. Some of that shit is insane.
Yeah, I'm all for it. I think the best punishments that, I don't like the tattoo thing. I don't like the doing stupid, like embarrassing things, but I like going to a Buffalo Wild Wings from open to close, and you have to sit there from open to close, and like a beer and a shot or whatever takes a certain amount of time off your thing. So every beer takes 30 minutes off the amount of time you have to spend there, so on and so forth. Those are my favorite. Because you can
Yeah,
either
I
just
like
sit
those.
there and take your punishment and just sit there from 11 to 2 a.m. or whatever it is, or you can get absolutely shithoused and leave at like 6 p.m.
Yeah, I've seen stuff, where each drink is an hour off. Like a
Yeah,
beer is an hour off, a shot's an
right.
hour off. But there should be something that gives you like 3 hours, like something disgusting, like really foul. Like if you do the challenge with the really spicy wings, like, and you complete it, you get like 3 hours off or something. But if you fail, your mouth's just really hot and you don't lose any time.
Yeah, you do the blazing challenge, and if you don't get it, your just mouth's
Yeah,
hot. That's all it
your
is.
mouth is hot, and I mean, you had a couple wings,
Yeah.
maybe some spicy D, and by D I mean diarrhea, not dick. I should have finished it.
Well, I
Just
think
some.
for fantasy basketball next year, because we can't do it this year because I'm in last place. Um,
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Pick your
and
punishment,
it
bro.
wasn't agreed upon, damn it. But I think next year we should do that, something similar of that punishment. I think I would suggest like a sports bar from open to close.
The I think that's a great punishment, but the only thing is I don't even care about being there all day. Being there alone.
Well, people can come sit with you for a couple hours. Like if I was there in Wilmington or whatever, like you just come sit with me, watch a game for a couple hours, have a couple beers, take some time. You don't, obviously your beers don't take time off of my stay, but
Yeah.
and then if you're somebody like, Mike that doesn't drink, you're in it for the long haul.
Then he has to be there.
He just has to be there unless he wants to suck it up and take some. He'll end up, cheating the system and getting the bartender just pouring shots of water.
Someone would have to go to Florida because he's a slimy bastard. He'd come up with some loophole. Every time a woman smiles at me, that's 30 minutes off.
Yeah. Oh man, that's good stuff. But so my fantasy football experience, I was in 2 leagues, made the playoffs in both. One was my work league, which had no money. One was my money league, and I lost in the first round in both leagues. Don't really care about if you guys can hear that, my dog is being a menace and trying to eat the little door stopper. He's been spending the entire day with mom. So during the podcast, she puts him in here with me to harass me. But whatever, that's just besides the point. So first round of the money league, because that's really the only one I cared about. I lost. It was like the 2-week thing. So we played 2 consecutive weeks. I lost 307.32 to 307.26.
Oh, that's the one you sent me, right?
Yeah. So I lost by 0.08 points. And it is disheartening. And the bad thing about it is that I would have beat the other 2 teams by over 100 points in the playoffs.
I would probably be inconsolable for a week.
Yeah, I was upset. I was really hoping, like I was just waiting for a stat correction, but it just never happened.
I mean, that's fantasy basketball last year. Wes won by 1 point. I think on a stat correction.
On a stat correction, I bet there was.
I think the stat correction happened during the game, though, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. That's funny. But yeah, so I'm pretty sad. And then I just didn't set my lineup in the 3rd place game because there's no, it's winner take all. There's no like 3rd place, get your money back or whatever it is.
That's a shit.
It was disheartening. It really was. But let's move on from my sorrow and jump into random questions. I'll go first. First question: should football be allowed to be played on Christmas?
Do you want me to edit out you having a stroke while you were asking that question, or just leave it
in? Just leave it in. People need to know.
I say no. I mean, allowed is, a little too authoritarian, I would say. I don't like football on Christmas because Christmas has always been a basketball day.
Right.
And every Christmas my whole life, I'm like, turn on the game. Now my family's all into sports betting. We're watching football all day. I don't give a fuck.
I know.
The Jets haven't played a meaningful game since I was fucking 13. So like, it was just a little aggravating. Like, I don't give a fuck about the Chiefs.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck. I want to watch some basketball on Christmas.
I feel you. I think Christmas or basketball is a Christmas. It's their holiday. But I will say that football is a better sport to watch on a holiday.
Okay. I agree. I mean, Thanksgiving is football shit.
For sure. But like
you're ruining our fucking podcast, Kobe.
He's sitting there, he's like pouncing at the but whatever. But like sitting around the living room, everybody's talking. It's just holidays feel like football. Like it's just easy to watch. You don't have to pay attention to every second. Like basketball is one of those things where you got to really pay attention. And
football's easier to digest for people who don't watch sports, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
Not to necessarily understand the intricacies of it, but it's like touchdown, everybody's excited.
Yeah. So I don't know. I just want to get your thoughts on that.
Yeah, that's my thoughts is no.
Okay.
But you never said what you thought. Yeah, I mean Are you yes or no?
I'm torn, truthfully.
No. We don't do that
I'll
around here,
give you
buddy.
I'm gonna give you my answer. I'm torn because like I said, I think it's easier to watch football with family. Um, so I'm gonna stick with basketball on Christmas is tradition.
All right. Good.
Either way, I don't like there being both.
Yeah. Because then you're divided. I was gonna say we might have to end this partnership if you
But with that, I
uh,
do think so. Speaking of basketball, I do think the NBA has to do something because it's almost becoming unbearable to watch. I think the NBA is a great league. I think the commissioner's great, but I hate the style of play of regular season NBA basketball.
sometimes it's okay. And then other times it's fucking terrible.
It's so bad. They just like, missed three. Okay, walk the ball down the court, jack up a missed three. Okay, walk the ball up the court, jack up a missed three. Like it's just,
Like playoff basketball, when these guys are playing hard, it's far and away the best basketball product.
yeah, I agree. NBA playoff basketball is great. But NBA regular season, they got to figure something out. I don't know what it is. Maybe change the 3 point freaking points to 2.5 points.
I don't fucking know, dude.
It's terrible.
Okay, mine. Well, we're gonna stick with basketball. Do you ever think about when you won't be able to play basketball competitively anymore? And if you do, what age do you think that will be?
Yeah, I do think about that sometimes, especially, now we're getting older and my style of play is not very conducive to being slow.
I'll have to teach you some things whenever you lose a step.
Yeah, so that's going to get tricky for me. Definitely going to have to turn into more of a post player if I want to keep playing longer. Not necessarily a post player, but more of like a facilitator out of the post, kind of.
Well, you've
Kind of
always, I mean, you have a good post game. You just don't really use it too much. You have a nice little, right-handed half hook.
right. Yeah. I think more so like you remember when McSwain used to play with us in practice and stuff?
Yeah.
Like I feel like that's what my game will shift to. Now, given McSwain was 6'5" or whatever, I ain't got that. But
Yeah. Um, and what age do you think it'll happen?
um so honestly, I hope it's like 60.
I'll play until my body physically can't.
Yeah.
Um, which has already started to happen for some of our friends. You feel for people who have gone through major surgeries.
Yeah.
Um, and my foot injuries kept me. This is still the longest I've gone in my life without playing, and it's
Right.
driving me crazy. So I've decided for the 20th time in my life that I've got to get my fucking weight down to at least 200 to
Yeah.
really maintain. So I've been relatively lucky. I'd say I've been able to play pretty much injury free for 10
You
years.
better find some damn wood, knock on it.
Well, I'm not injury free now.
Yeah. I think, the thing about it is you can play as long as you can keep yourself in shape. Uh, so like the more weight you have, the shorter your time up to play is going to be.
Especially with basketball being a game that is very hard on your body anyway.
Yeah, no doubt. Um, I went and played pickup today actually, and there's a guy who comes and he most of the time just watches. He's an older guy, gold teeth, black dude. Um, just usually sits on the sideline and like watches and talks to me after the game and stuff like that. But today we were kind of short on people. So he just decided to run and he's 60. He told me he's 60, which, you know, being able to get up and down the court with, 29-year-olds and younger is impressive, just that. But he came in, he drilled a couple threes, playing defense. He was not playing good defense, but he's playing defense. Like I want to be that. I want to go play pickup and somebody be like, "Hey, how old are you?" And I'm like, "I'm 60." And they're like, "What?" You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. There's a guy in our men's league who is 62. He's a
Yeah.
smaller guy though, and like
Yeah.
skinny. But I would have thought he was like 48.
Right. Right. I mean,
And
that becomes more and more of a compliment as you get older.
yeah, and I mean, and I was being pretty fucking rough with him, and then I was like, wait a minute, this is an old dude, because because I was like, I always like make comments like, oh, I'm getting old for the shit. I love doing that,
Yeah.
just because I think it's funny. And he was like, I'm 62, and I was like, good god.
Yeah. So I mean, first comes first is keep yourself in shape. And I'd like to say that I'm gonna be that guy that's, plays through his 40s, plays a little bit less through his 50s. Like maybe be that guy that shows up for lunch crowd run. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And then like when I'm, older, like 60, be that guy that kind of just goes and watches pickup and sits on the sideline and kind of, jumps in when they need people, blah, blah, blah.
and then when we're 70 and our kids are 40.
When I'm 70, I'm sitting on a porch. I'm gonna have a nice rocking chair on a screened in porch, and I'm not doing much leaving from that.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah. Okay. Next question. Best hoop mixtape that you can remember.
Ooh, Shabazz Muhammad.
Yeah.
I love that fucking mixtape,
That's the
dude.
lefty, the guy that played at UCLA, right?
Yeah, and he played for the mainly
Timberwolves.
like most famously the Timberwolves.
Yeah.
Shabazz Muhammad, no doubt. Other guys I think of, Austin Rivers.
Yeah.
Um, oh my God, short little black dude,
Akil Carr,
Akil Carr. Yes.
the Crime Stopper.
Yep. Everybody in Baltimore would stop killing each other and they would watch his games. That's at least the story.
Right. The story behind it.
Uh, there was another little guy. I think his name was Pee Wee.
Yeah. I think you're right. I can't remember his name, but he's had the same like style of mixtape as Akil Carr.
Yeah. Um, Shabazz Muhammad is really the guy I think of. Seventh Woods when he was
Smith
in
Woods
middle
was
school.
crazy. Yeah. It was only like his seventh grade hoop mixtape
Yeah.
because he was like dunking on people.
His seventh grade tape, and then like randomly, I was like, "Is he's fucking playing for Carolina?"
Yeah. Yeah. I know. Right.
Um, yeah, I would say mine is gonna be Shabazz Muhammad.
Okay. I like that. I think mine, hands down, like there's a lot of good ones out there, but mine, hands down, is John Wall.
Oh yeah, well, fuck
John
yeah,
Walls was crazy. And I think, he's like the oldest guy in the hoop mixtape era. But dude, just the things that he did was just nuts. And I think he kind of started that hoop mixtape culture, to be honest.
well, I mean, John Wall's insanity.
Oh yeah, for
I
sure.
mean, I mean, do the John Wall
Yeah, do the John Wall. John Wall. John Wall.
and that Kentucky team
Yeah.
was insane.
Yeah, they were. They really were. Good days. You remember like high school basketball, either before games or before practices, we'd go into that little in-school suspension room and just watch like hoop mixtapes. Got Kobe.
Yeah, and say shit like, "Wow, I probably could guard that guy."
Right. And you add there's no chance in the world.
Coach McSwain once told me that I couldn't guard a snowman, which I think was a little harsh because I probably could have.
Can you hear the dog right now?
Yeah,
Yeah, he's
but it's not like. I mean, I'm sure it's not great for audio, but fuck it. I mean,
probably
we don't
not.
do we don't do anything.
It's okay. He was being great. This whole episode, he was just sleeping on his bed and being a normal dog. And now he got the monster look in his eyes and he's attacking my hand. No.
That for everybody, because everybody can't see the video, Trey raised his hand and punched his dog in the face so
Yeah.
hard that
Yeah.
it's bleeding.
Yeah, the dog's bleeding.
Yeah.
All
Is
right,
that
you got
it?
another one? Yeah.
Oh, I have one. I don't really know what it is though. I wrote down what I saw on a I guess it was a bumper sticker or like a whatever the fuck. Kobe, enough, dude. We got 3 minutes. It says, keep your nalgas up, fool. Like Nalgas. And I feel like that's a Spanish word.
Keep your nalgas up, fool. I don't know what that means. Truthfully, I don't know. Hold on. Come on. Go see mom. I'm sitting in the use. It's being crazy for a second.
Oh, it's Spanish slang for ass.
Keep your ass up, fool.
I guess. I don't fucking know. What does nalgas mean in Spanish? Buttock, cheek, cone, pussy, cunt, fanny, twat. Okay.
I mean, I like
And,
it.
and you like cone?
I guess so.
That's what I'm gonna start calling it.
Damn. Look at that cone.
All right. You got any Pat's peeves?
Yeah, I got a Pat's peeve. And it's when I send a text to my lovely podcast host and I ask him what he wants to talk about on the episode. And he replies with one word, sports.
That was obviously a joke.
Mm,
Oh, what's your guess on what I make at the scrapyard tomorrow before we end it?
I don't
I'll
know
tell you what I
numbers.
got.
Okay.
I got a little bit of steel. I got 4 brake rotors, a little bit of copper wire, and a weed whacker.
How many cans?
2 bags of cans. That'll be $5 with the cans. That's it.
I'm gonna say 1649.
If I don't make at least $20, I'm gonna punch myself in the head.
Film it and put it on the YouTube.
All right.
All
That's
right,
it.
brother
That's all I
man.
got.
Well, it was lovely as always. And I'll see you next week.
Yeah, keep your cone up, bro.
Keep your cone up, fool.
All right.
All right, see you.